Hi, I'm Deborah Sadler, and I am the author of the trilogy Words of the Temple: A New Humanity. And I have some really, really great news for you. Things happen in the unseen realm before they happen in real life. And that's part of quantum physics. And I'm also going to say right now, this is for entertainment purposes only. But those of us who are metaphysicians and those who are quantum physicists understand that things happen in the unseen realm before they materialize or manifest or demonstrate on the planet Earth. And as you know, I am a student of Kryon, and Kryon has been talking about the indigos. But in this book, my first book, Words of the Temple, Working Toward World Peace in New Humanity, Book 1, I wrote about the indigos as well, because where I live in a town called Cardiff by the Sea, and in the 1980s, a woman named Nancy Tappy had a draft of her book at the printer that I used for invitations for art shows, because I had an art business with my husband. And so we read Nancy Tappy's book before it was really even published in the 1980s. And I'm just going to read you a couple of things from my book about Nancy Tappy. And it said, from her website, we learned that Nancy's process was for seeing life colors. Nancy saw a rainbow of colors around all living objects. These colors constantly move and change except for one color, which is constant throughout an individual's life. That color shapes and defines the individual's personality and provides a focus for each person's unique perceptions. And that is from her book, Understanding Your Life Through Color. And then also in 2008, it says on her website, 2009, describes the indigos. In the 1960s, Nancy started to perceive a new color appearing in infants. She saw it as the color indigo. Today, most people under the age of 30 have this life color. And then that means that most global citizens below the age of 40 are indigos now in 2020, I wrote. I also studied with an indigenous, the Atia Teach, or the spiritual teacher of the Hashiman people, who are the ones who built the mission in San Juan Capistrano. And she taught us about the rainbow teachings of her people. And indigo was also a lesson that we learned about, and I studied with her starting in 1990. And so and it's also in my book, that she stated that the indigos are here to bring about total and absolute and complete change, whether we like it or not. And so they are here for a reason. And I just was listening to Kryon's final channel of 2024, and at the very end he said the indigos are here to take the place of power, because now they're 45 and below, so they're moving into the age where they become our politicians and they become our leaders. And he says the emergence of the indigo is the greatest gift for the planet. And so when people ask me who's my audience for my trilogy, Words of the Temple, my audience is the indigos. And when I first published it in 2021, I was like, well, people 40 and under. So there is great news about this emergence of the indigos. And I know the indigos feel the pressure of this. And Lee Carroll and his wife at the time, Jan Tober, wrote the Indigo books at the end of the 1990s, and I found out recently that it was Kryon who told Lee Carroll and Jan Tober to write those books. And so there is a lot going on. I've also been listening to Mel Lawson, who channels the United Galactic Alliance. She channels, she calls them seraphim, but a lot of the archangels. And last Tuesday, which would be January 7th, she just came and she didn't online, and she didn't do a channel. She just said that she had gotten a message that Lucifer had been delivered. And she said, I know a lot of you are not going to believe me, but that's the message that I got, that Lucifer had left the dark and rejoined the light. And I just got right on the comments and I said, great news, exclamation point, because it totally works in with this paradigm of moving through the procession of the equinoxes as being a shift from the dark to the light, and that the light is winning. And that's what Kryon tells us. We now have more light than we have dark. Well, where would you want to go if you were an angel? Wouldn't you want to be on the winning team? So, you know, when the dark was prevailing, that's where that individual was. Lucifer went with the dark. He went with the winning side, the prevailing side. But you know what? The energy shifted so much that he, or the entity or the energy of that, because it's not really a person, it's not really a place, it's a consciousness. And that consciousness shifted to the light. And you may think, oh, this is a bunch of whatever nonsense, but for me, what I'm hearing in the news is nonsense. What I'm being told is news sounds like an illusion and a delusion to me. And this information from Mel really works well with the paradigm that I have been introduced to, which is that we are a planet in ascension, and we are in the light, and we made it. And guess what? The dark energy is joining us. And today, which is Sunday, January 12th, she had a message that was from Archangel Gabriel, I believe. I took some notes. The bonds in place erected and forged eons ago were severed this day permanently. Bonds affecting humanity. Profound a change occurred which affects human souls and its cycles. This has never happened in the history of mankind. As such, it is celebrated by us and others. We are here to tell you, celebrate for us, with us, for this is the one thing we have been waiting for a long, long time. And so these folks who are channeling and are accessing the field are letting us know that those figures that represented the dark energy, such as Lucifer, and bonds that connect us and hold us in place, have been severed, and that Lucifer, or the energy representing Lucifer, has joined the light. And so I know we are in for, you know, who knows what is going to happen during this next week. But in the unseen realm, the dark has joined the light. And so there is so much hope ahead for us. And so we will see the agents of the dark struggle and crumble and disintegrate, just as that image I described to you that Kryon talked about, the ships. There are 2 ships. He described this in January 2024. They're brand new. And they're each ready to be launched into the ocean. And one is dark, old energy, and one is new energy. And they get launched into the ocean, but you know what? The ocean shifted, it changed. It's not old energy anymore, it's new energy. And so this new ship of old energy starts to rust, and it starts to get holes. And eventually it is destined to sink. And so we're going to see the dark that is attempting to dominate our planet just fall apart and disintegrate and return to the nothingness from where they came. So I hope you join me in knowing in your heart and in your mind and in your spirit that we are moving to a much better place, including all of those souls who lost their beautiful homes in Los Angeles. We will rise together. We are one. And we will see the oneness in our country and in our world around this huge devastation that has taken place in Los Angeles. And we're moving to a place where everyone has a home and everyone has access to food and to safety, because we are moving into a golden age, and we have done the work and we have earned the right. And you know what? all those angels and archangels are celebrating right now. So let's just join in the celebration and know that we made it, that we are the light, that the forces that were dominating the dark have given up and joined us. And so together we move into a greater level of unity consciousness, which is the promise of the precession of the equinoxes. And then I just want to add one more thing about the precession of the equinoxes. This is the solstice level of the equinox. This is the precession that the sun takes around to get through all 12 signs of the zodiac. And here is the equinox. It doesn't change. So when the sun is moving around, it goes like this. But when we get to the precession of the equinox, we get the cross. And that's where we're at. And the cross is really the precession of the equinox. Humanity has known about this cycle forever. It is not a religious symbol. It is an astronomical symbol. And as I mentioned yesterday, that the symbol for the Earth in astrology is a cross, which is the precession of the equinox, and a circle around it. And this precession of the equinox this cross is known as the heavenly cross and as the galactic cross. And this is when we are in our greatest power and the greatest time of transformation. So here we are. Embrace it. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I hope you have a great day and a great week, and let's celebrate. Let's just know that the unseen realm has turned into a big darn party, and we will see it demonstrating and manifesting on our planet in any day now. Have a great week.